Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel, who was co-author of a report in the Journal of the American Medical Association, which concluded, quote, "The United States has done remarkably badly compared to other countries with this virus." He said, I mean remarkably badly. Do you agree?
Well, in some respects, yes, and that I think that's a function of our country and how it is set up. You know, as you well know, and you mentioned it just a moment ago, it's a geographically large, diverse country with differences in geography, in climate, in cultural differences throughout the country. We have 50 states. Our country was set up by the founding fathers based on a federalist system, which means that the states have a considerable degree of independence in doing things the way they want to do. Under certain circumstances, that works really very well. But when you're dealing with a pandemic virus that knows no borders or boundaries between states, when you do things in a disparate way, it doesn't lead to an optimal response. And unfortunately, that's what's happened.
But let Dr. Fauci, let's not just talk about the states. Let's talk about governance from the very top. Let's talk about the President of the United States of America, a man who you know better than I has, in the course of 9 months, mused about where coronavirus has come from. He's mused about how to treat it, including thoughts about using disinfectant. He's very often talked about masks in a way that has perhaps confused the American public. He's directed some of his critique at you personally, saying that you, his chief advisor on the virus, have made, quote, a lot of mistakes. Do you think that leadership from the very top has been an important problem in the U.S. response?
Well, you know, there's very little that I can do about that. I mean, obviously, when you have leadership that's consistent in a message, that does make a difference. But we have to work with what we have. And what we have is people like myself and my colleagues out there trying to get the correct information to the American public.
You've had to put up with an awful lot over the last 9 months. You've heard crowds chanting "Fire Fauci" at various political rallies. You've had one of Trump's former advisors call for your execution and for your head to be placed on a pike staff in the grounds of the White House. And maybe more seriously, you have had to live, you and your wife, with a federal security detail inside your own home because of security threats on you. Has there been any time over the last 9 months when you have really, honestly felt close to some sort of emotional edge?
To be quite honest with you, no. I focus on the problem at hand and my responsibility to be part of the solution to that problem and to do whatever I can to protect the health and the safety of the American people, but indirectly for the entire world, because often what we do here does impact the rest of the world. That other stuff is unfortunate, but I have developed the capability of not allowing that to distract me. So in answer to your question, I never really have even come close to feeling that I wanted to quit or get out of this or that I was at the edge of some sort of crisis. Not at all. I focus on what my job is. It's crystal clear in my mind, and the other stuff in my mind is just a lot of noise.